Hey everybody, I am Tommy and you are on the lifeboat. Hopefully you're having one heck of a Tuesday. Let's see who we've got on deck, shall we? Jane Aldrich, good to see you, Jane. How are you? Molten Arella is jogging. Lori Abbs, good to see you. Cassandra, what's happening? Soaro, Jennifer Minton, Carrie, good to see you. You know, I probably told the story before, but Sid, good to see you. My friend Cassandra was very fond of Quaaludes. David Clark, Want to Love, Burnsy25. Meredith Lynn, good to see you. How are you? Narcoleptic Chihuahua, Rosanna, Dana, Sandy Wendy, Donna, Cookie, Fiesta Kitty's here, Debbie Blair, hey, Pajama Pixie, Layla, Monica Larimore, Estelle, Lori Adams making a second pass, and I like it. Debbie Zito, Ree. Hey, Lumen, what's happening? Amber June, glad you're here. Glad you're here. Mia McCat, I love it. Debbie Blair, Yvette, you need a little something to lighten the mood? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yvette, can we get some ones, people? Can we get some ones for that? Oh, my Lord, I am so sorry to hear that. It is one of the most difficult things on earth. Sharon Kennedy, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, Layla, I need a laugh too, so we're gonna get our laugh on. You know, I'll tell you something. The easiest way to really get your laugh on is to drag my girl out. Hold on and I'll send her a link while we're sitting here screwing around. T-Frog, good to see you. What's happening? Auntie KK, Debbie Blair, because I'll tell you something. I can be funny, people. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I got game. I'm not a hack when it comes to making people laugh. I got game. But let's be really honest. My girl is an absolute Picasso at it. And who doesn't need a laugh? I'm telling you. But I'll tell you something else too. We have a movement that is going, and I'm not saying just the boat. I'm seeing a movement worldwide. I really am. I'm watching it on other people's channels. You know, this shitstorm that everyone's trying to create. I've been through so many of these. It's incredible. You've been doing this for any length of time. And really nothing on this is new. It's all the same crap. They bring it up every couple of years. And this time they just got a little bit more organized about it. If you've been on the boat for any length of time, you've heard all of this before. And you've heard us answer to all of it before. And I'm not doing it again. Go back. I've got 2,000 videos. You can go through and find it. I promise you they're all over the place because they've been taking shots. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You feel it. Is it me? I absolutely feel this. I truthfully believe wholeheartedly that we're moving in the right direction, man. It's me, Kirsty. Hey, you'll be lurking. Nothing wrong with lurking. You know, it sometimes has a bad connotation. I am a lurker, man. I'm a huge, big-time lurker. Although I feel stupid about this, and I'm going to say this. I used to say all the time, I do too. Yeah, Lori Abs, and I'm loving it. I used to say all the time, if I show up in somebody's chat, I usually don't pop up and say hello, especially if it's a group of people that knows me, because a lot of times then everybody feels like they got to say hello. And then I started to realize more how this whole algorithm thing works. And if everybody does say hi, then the algorithm thinks you're killing it. If everybody says hi and they hit the thumbs up, then the algorithm really believes you're killing it. And then you start getting into the bigger numbers, man. Lumen, exactly right. Same old stuff. But this time they had a way better approach. I'll give them credit. I mean, I didn't watch it, not a one, but I know that, you know, about 8 or 9 of them think a run at the same time, which is not something they've done in the past. And there's been more exposure of ugliness than ever before, and it did less damage than the first attempt they made years ago. And I think that that's just got a lot to do with this audience, and it's got a lot to do with the fact that we've been bogged down for so long with BS, right? And you just start saying to yourself, why, right? Nothing makes sense. It's methinks the lady doth protest too much. Yeah, I don't. It's and I've done shows on this a million times, the whole garbage in, garbage out. But now the way I look at it is this: you know, you want to watch, check it out, do it, because I like the idea of the contrasting messages hanging up next to one another. I really do. These people paint a picture. It really is. So much of it is really pretty bizarre, and some of the claims are just so ridiculous that just do a little chasing down at anything, and it'll tell you just how ridiculous all of this stuff does. They came in bunches this time, man. They really came in bunches this time. But I think it has something to do. You're going to see they're beating a drum to say that the jesters are great guys and that all of that is BS. Now, we didn't start this on the jesters. We have an awful lot of dirt on them. But the jesters have gone through this 4 times, people. They have an open investigation about what they did to kids in South America. We're not making this stuff up off the top of their heads. All of this stuff is out there and can be researched. It's pretty funny. But you know something? They took a real attack on Atwood right before he did the documentary, right before the documentary came out. This is the documentary of him talking about Sammy the Bull Gravano. Great documentary if you haven't seen it. Really a good show, man. Hey, Katie, how are you? Really a good show. Totally worth checking out. Yeah, nothing but love, right, on KK? But right before Atwood's show broke, these people came out and said he's never met Sammy the Bull. They played a clip from 5 years earlier where Sammy said, no, I don't know who this dude is. Now, he never claimed that he was homeboys with Sammy the Bull. He claimed to have been in a business as a competitor to Sammy's kid selling MDMA, right? But this person has the huevos to go out and say things that are just very easily to prove BS. And I don't know. It's funny. It's the same kind of a thing. You want to be on the side that says that the jesters are good people. Please, God, let it go down that. It'll make it real easy to check this out, man. Make it real easy to figure this out, right? Yeah, I mean, this is kind of where my dome piece is too. Yes, English Sean, love him. I do too, man. And that was a great documentary. I'm proud as hell of Sean and that documentary. That was off the hook. It really was. Yeah, right. I mean, this shouldn't be that. But you know something? Well, you make a great point because there's a lot of people on planet Earth that that's not the direction they want to go in. They'd rather hear that, I'm doing it with my aunt and my uncle or whatever it is that these guys are saying that, I smuggled liquid G across the border up my backside. Not exactly sure how that goes down, but God bless them. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. So listen, there's some stuff going on with the in the Diddyverse. Anytime you get this level of silence, now we know that this is going to happen, and and the sad thing is this: we take our eyes off the prize, and when we do, smaller stuff is going on. Voldemort, both of these guys are doing everything they can to deflect from the story of the two of them. If you think about it, Sean Combs got arrested in September. It's absolutely freaking remarkable, right? Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Lumen, this is you can find that documentary on the Sean Atwood program. Roberta, you're right. If there is whoever is in second place is definitely behind Reese. My girl looks great. She looked so beautiful yesterday in the that get up with the hat. I was loving it. I really was. Yeah, Lori Abs. You know what? Here's the sad thing, right? Here's the sad thing. Someday I may be forced to address what happens, but when somebody that you confide in and you tell people things about your life, and they decide, after a period of time that they come across as very miserable ladies, and that's kind of the way it goes down, unfortunately. The remarkable thing is that there was no hate for me before I fell in love. I was a great dude up until the time I fell in love. And then there were some people that thought that Reese wasn't a great pick for me. And by the way, I don't much care, in all honesty. I mean, I love you guys, but who I pick is really kind of a personal thing, one would think. Now, the vast majority of all of the people that stick around here love my fiance, probably as much as I do. And I'm not being smart when I say that. A lot of you have been with her since the day that she had. Hey, Jason P., since the day that she hit record on YouTube for the first time. I want to tell you something. If you are a fan, I hope that you've gone back and watched that first video. The first time that Reese shot, it was she was sitting in Beefy's office upstairs in the house in Kansas City. And tell me that's the girl I'm engaged to. Go back and watch that. When people start flinging feces, they're talking about somebody who, in the last 2 years, the evolution of that girl is remarkable. Everybody can watch it on tape. You can watch her bloom and blossom and go from somebody that's trained to hate, because that's really what they do. They train to take the love out of your relationship. From the time you're born, they don't want mom breastfeeding. I mean, from the very first moment you come out, they're doing everything they can to break the bond between parent and child. Terrific. People go, I don't understand how her dad could just say, you're no longer in my life. That's it. Throw a switch and you're gone. But the way that they can do that is that cult beats that out of them completely. It's horrific. But it starts almost immediately, man. Yes, I'm glad that you brought this up, man. I'm glad that you brought this up. That game show was one of the funniest. That's right. We did a show first, right? I popped on a show she was doing. Yeah, I think I popped on to Relatable Reese first. She sent me a link, and I came on just for a few moments to say hello. And shocker, Reese flirted with me. Yeah. Let her tell the story some other way, and she'll tell you that I was all over her. You know me. I'm not the flirting type. Incarnasoul, you know something? I'll be really honest. You guys may not believe this. I don't want anybody going to bat for us. I really don't. I don't want to, because it's, even if you're going to bat for us, you kind of got to move away from that love side to take a shot. You know what I mean? It's like you want to say something, but it's probably not going to be something nice. I just like to see these people forgotten about. It's what they deserve. The weatherman's favorite burrito. Did you tell Johnny Scoville that? Because he'll end up telling the cat. Oh, nice. I appreciate that. You know something that will, here's what you're going to see. And this is something that's fascinating. I've always said this. If you see somebody's business model in the real world start to fail, you're never going to know what's going on or why. You look at their business and you go, they're just not doing well. I wonder what's going on. Inside the YouTube universe, it becomes really obvious. And if the stuff you're talking about is making people bail off your channel, if you're watching your numbers drop and drop and drop, but you continue to do the hate, then this is probably not about being a YouTuber. It's about hate, right? And people don't like to destroy their channel unless they got somebody helping. I shaved my handlebars in between interviews and game show. She pointed it out. So what are you saying? Lori, are you accusing me of sticking around after I left and hearing her say something about the handlebars and then shaving it off that night because I was trying to hit on her? That is ridiculous. It's so funny, man. That is funny. You can't prove that. I have been with Reese since Aaron. It has been amazing to see her strength. And I like seeing the two of you grow together. You have both helped me in different ways. That's what I hold to. I love that. I love that. No, I'm keeping the beard. I'm keeping the beard. This stays. Well, here's the truth. All right, I'm going to. Are cults illegal? Okay, here's the thing. Cults, technically, as long as they're not breaking the law, they're protected. The difference between a religion and a cult gets, in the eyes of the law, gets really dicey. And the Church of Scientology is a protected religion within the United States. In fact, they enjoy tax-free status. Recently, this has gone a long way to leveling the playing field so that the world knows now about Scientology, and it's getting so many people talking about it that I think there's a chance that this may end up going away, man. It is, Christianese. So if they cross the line, then the cults become illegal, right? If they start to do things that violate the law. Now, cult of Scientology very well may be doing that. But the point I was making earlier about the Quibster is after 38 years in that cult, she's been out 2 years. And if people want to play videos or screenshots or something that from when she was a year out, these are some classy people. But you people are classy. Speaking of which, anybody hear any good fart jokes lately? You know what I mean. I'm kidding. Well, but I'm not. But aw, what a cool thing to say. Y'all know that my life has been made all the better for your inspiration, connections. And I want to tell you something. This is not just somebody blowing smoke, right? Pajama Pixie's out there doing it. That's such a cool story, man. It really is. Pajama Pixie just got on the boat, started hanging out. And then one day we were seeing a little less of her. And I thought, I wonder what's going on. And she said, I am out connecting. I met people from when I was, back in high school and had reunions. And she jet setting around the world, meeting people and being cool, living like a rock star. And there's nothing cooler. Love the story. You know what? so let me tell you my Scientology hookup here. I was a public speaker. There was a public speaker that worked with me for a period of time, and he was pretty good. He was a decent public speaker, but he had his own crew that came with him. Like when he came, he brought his crew from the lab, and that happens sometimes. If you got a crew of people that you've been working with for a while, and we kind of assume that that's really what the big deal was, right? That's, however, what it was everybody that came with him was a Scientologist, and it was weird to hear him talk. It was one of the first things that really jumped off the paper at me was to hear them talk was really bizarre because they spoke in a different language. They really did. Reese is a remarkable woman to go through all she has been through and come out on top and doing so well, not to mention she is gorgeous. And she just has such a great sense of humor. And there's just not enough laughing in the world. There just simply isn't. My back is not great, Andrea, but I appreciate you asking. She convinced me to see a therapist, and you convinced me to journal. And life is better, isn't it? What are we talking about? Well, there's no telling. What's the most controversial aspect of Scientology? What a great question. In my humble opinion, it would be they have some policies, right, concerning family members that do not appreciate you being a Scientologist. And they have a disconnection policy where once these people are deep in the cult, someone that isn't, they will convince that person that your family is a suppressive person. And the term suppressive person, or SP, means it's over. Right? People look just, hey, here we go. Jane Aldridge says, what I saw last night was folks rehashing old rumors you've addressed. It was obvious they didn't know the context of what they were trying to discuss. Royal Order of Jesters saw as men visiting pros, full stop. You know something? They know that that's not the truth. The Royal Order of Jesters, they're on their third go-around of being caught for this exact crime. And here's the other thing, though, and hopefully, something good comes from this. For instance, anytime somebody's stupid, or I'm sorry, it's a wrong term, it really is. The way they're approaching it might not be all that, but that's the wrong term. But someone who is ignorant of the subject matter, one person's prostitution, right? They go, it's just prostitution, right? It's simply prostitution. If the prostitute works for a group of people, and those are the only people she works for, right? The control that they exert over her life makes this human tea. Do you understand? She has no choice. She can't say, oh, I'm not working with these people, right? Forget it. I don't want to. I'll pick different clients. They're giving me the creeps I want. Doesn't work like that. This is their people, man, right? This is their people. John Attack. I don't know who that is. I would have to look that up. Yes, they are kind of like the Amish as far as banishing loved ones because of different beliefs. Thank you, Pam. They're a little bit, I mean, I can't speak as much to the Amish. I don't know what their, how their disconnection policy works. In Scientology, they will hide people. I mean, there are so many stories of individuals who were 100% convinced that their loved ones were dead. This is fascinating. I'm not joking. I talked about this. Hey, Kathy Ann, good to see you. This is an interesting subject matter, right? Because I've been hello, not so dumb blonde. Good to see you. Hey, Diane. I've been talking about this a lot lately. The need for relevance is now a thing, and there are people who everybody I talk to about this says that's so sad, right? How come they don't lose their tax exempt, et cetera, as punishment? Well, here's what happens, right? Here's what happens. These guys aren't stupid. And what they're going to have to do, if you ask my humble opinion, and if we got any law nerds in here, you can tell me that I'm full of crap, or you can tell me you agree. But here's something that I think we're probably going to end up having to see this thing done as a RICO case. And the reason for that is there are 190 courts in the United States of America. And with 190 courts, whenever something happens, like the episode that happened in Buffalo, New York, right? They instantly say, oh, it's a group of bad people, right? This is a group of bad people. We're not like this. We all hang out a little bit. We do a little partying, but what these people did, right? What these people did is horrific. Here's why what's going on with Reese is important. And then these people who are saying, it's just prostitution, move on. It's not. And we have the entire setup. We have the people that recruit these prostitutes, right? Who then hook them into a system. And we hear the conversation. She's a mother of two, right? She needs more exposure in the realm. She needs the cash. This is textbook human tea. You're enticing these people and you're recruiting these people. It is against the law, the human tea law, to recruit someone to take across a state line for the purpose of commercial sex. Ding, 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 ding. That's exactly what's going on. We have all of the screenshots and all of the communications between all of these people. Now, if we catch them, they'll go, oh, court 54. That was the president's court. What a bunch of dirtbags, right? Just a lone group of people. Then we're not doing this anywhere else. This is the policy. This is how it works. And they're genius, right? Because they don't have one pimp. They don't have one pimp. That pimp rotates through. You know those cool buttons you saw? Well, the year that guy's the pimp, he makes a button that says John's, right? You know, or Tommy's titty, patrol, or any of those classy things that you see on those pins. Making bacon, right? Yeah. That person, it's his job to book the talent, right? And there's 109 of these little cells around the U.S. And every time one gets caught, that's the answer to your earlier question. Every time one gets caught, it's, oh, those boys in Buffalo. It's disgusting. The rest of the courts, we go out, we play golf, right? We go do these bird shoots because there's nothing wrong with injuring birds, then trying to let them fly away and shooting them because that's sport. But I guess, these guys are all kind of beefy. I don't think they're going to be doing a lot of running through the woods and whatnot. It's probably the best they can hope for. Da-da-da. Tommy, I bought a beautiful journal because of you and was going to start writing my thoughts. Unfortunately, I now am having issues with my hand and can't write anymore, so I'm bummed out now. Well, I'll tell you what. How about some thoughts and prayers for your hand? Get some ones on there. If not, right? I went through a period of time. If you ever see me on Instagram, all of my old back in the day, my hands would be this big. I used to sandblast, and I would get arthritic to the point where it was the first time in 7 or 8 years I couldn't journal. I couldn't put a pen to paper. And I want to tell you something. Do this twice a day for 7 years, right? And you will find almost instantly that when you stop doing it, your brain starts to do really screwy things. It really does. So there are so many programs you can do online where you have voice to text. These things are encrypted. There's a billion of them that you can find. And just the art, right? The act of getting all your thoughts into place before you go to sleep and getting your thoughts in order before you start your day, that the act of doing that, whether you can read it or not later, or whether you just destroy it or whatever, getting it into position before you shut your eyes and go to sleep, that's what you're shooting for. That's a great question. And you're right. Rosanna Dana says, it's hard to get rid of a lawyer. How did Sarah get rid of hers? Thanks. Not all of them were actually her fault. One of them was a scheduling thing, and the person, there was a conflict of interest or whatever. But yeah, exactly. Kathy Ann says most recused. A lot of these people went to the court and just said, I can't work with her. And courts get really angry about that. They do. They absolutely get angry about that. But I think she's like Jodi Arias. She's one of those people that, I mean, let's be honest, she cooked her brain, or she's so mentally ill. But I am of the belief, when you do a little deep dive on her past, everyone that knew her said she drank till she passed out all of the time. Yeah, what a great juxtaposition, Rhonda. You're right. I will hold on, highlight that in a second. Do the Masons have a website? Maybe somebody should put the Jester stuff on there. You know, it's funny that you say that. I have been saying this, just Joan. If you know anybody that is in the that's a Freemason, talk to them about this. We do all the time. And there are a lot of Freemasons that are reaching out to us right now. And what we find is people who say, yeah, we do know about them, right? We would do anything we could to get rid of them. In Europe, none of this is accepted at all. There is no justice, right? In Europe, there's the shrine. I mean, the Masons do not accept the shrine, and they do not accept the Royal Order of Jesters. In England, none of that. None of that. They think it's just stupid stuff that we do here in the U.S. And they're probably right. You know, they're probably right. You know what? I love this. I love this. Tommy, you inspired me to shoot a video comparing addicts to cancer patients and how addicts are demonized and people with cancer get support. Just wanted to thank you for what you do, bro. You know what? This is not something that gets discussed enough. Instead, people go the opposite way and they go, don't you call that a disease, man? How dare you call that a disease, right? My uncle's got cancer. He's got a disease. You're a scumbag. They're two totally different things. And people really beat the drum on this, man. They really, really beat the drum on this. I'm not sure why this is such a hard thing for people to understand, but it really is. Yeah, you know something, D-Bombs? Yeah, I think avoiding the bad comments is such a bad idea. Is the song that I'm humming the Black Crows? Do I really hum a song? It wasn't that da-da-da-da-da. No, because I do that one quite a bit too. It is the Black Crows. I got on a Black Crows thing. I don't know why. Everything kind of goes in circles, but I got on this Black Crow thing and it stuck around for a while. Talking to Justice Tommy, what do you think of the growing allegation that Charles participated in child hunting? He even admitted to being related to Vlad the Impaler. Probably not a great time to admit to being related to Vlad the Impaler. If you don't know what Pearl is talking about right now, this is getting traction. This is a story that is actually getting traction. Yes, I do the Andy Griffith song occasionally too. Talk to Angels it's a great song. It really is. No way. Arius is locked up. No one is my guru. Well, I should hope not, Renee. I'll be honest. Go back and look at the number of shows that I've done titled There Are No Gurus, man. There are no gurus. You've been watching videos of Kensington. You know something? Say something about Kensington, Pennsylvania. I remember going to Kensington about 1 million years ago. It was the last century. I was going to college in a very rural town in the Northeast, and we would drive down to Kensington to get Bolivian marching powder because it was so cheap there. It almost didn't seem real. Hold on 1 second, folks. You may not believe this. Look what I found walking around. Whimsy.
Can you hear me on this thing?
I can hear you on this thing.
Well, what are you doing?
I'm having a very good time.
Aren't you cute? I like you in a turtleneck, and you know this.
Well, thank you. We have been reminiscing. We were having a few trips down memory lane, and I was saying all kinds of terrible things about you.
That sounds right.
I can't back that up. I was talking about you being a hottie and the really fun time. That's a big mic. It's not the size of your mic. I think.
Oh, it is though. But it is. And I found this out when I met Tommy. I had no idea until I met Tommy. It really does matter. This is for the real players.
Oh, and make no mistake, Quibsy is a player. I love that hat. I remember moving that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's really cold here. I wear a lot of hats.
That's what I've been told. It's in the teens, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That is accurate.
You've been going down to Dollar General just to warm up. Tell the truth. I like DG. They keep it warm. Say what you will. They keep DG warm.
I don't go to DG ever. I don't like to go to DG. We've had this conversation.
She stays in the car when we go to DG.
I do. I don't like it. But
I got you in there a couple of times.
It's weird because then when I go in, I see the candy aisle and I'm like, why don't we ever come here?
Yeah.
I love Bo Beats.
Isn't that something?
By the way, hello, everyone. Thank you, Lumen. This is just the same mic I've had forever, guys. I just don't use it unless I'm talking with other folks.
I used to have it on a little swing out thing, or I had one over there too. But I, as you know, V-Bombs. I love that song. You know the song Reminiscing by the Little River Band?
No.
Friday night, it was late. I was walking you home. We got down to the gate and I was dreaming.
I love that song.
I knew you knew that song.
I'm tired, babe. I have been trying to poop for the last 20 minutes. That's why I'm so late.
Well, it only took 32 minutes, but so what did you do last night? Did you sleep well?
Did you care?
D. Thompson, I'm sorry to hear that your electricity is out. That sucks.
I feel like I wasn't heard at all. That wasn't a joke. Ask Tony Suter. I was texting her. She was like, I thought you were coming on. And I was like, I'm trying to poop. And she said, with all the bad rumors about you, you should go live from the toilet. That would make them even more mad. And I said, that is genius. But I can't do it on your channel. I could only do it on mine. I don't do things like that unless I'm on my channel.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Barbie's World. I slept with my aunt. I smuggled gamma hydroxybutyric acid up my butt from Mexico. And Quibs and I got married in, where were we?
Nevada.
Yeah, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
Tough things to look up, by the way. But tell you what, use your discerning taste. Listen to what they say.
One to crack.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope D. Thompson, I hope you get your power back on. That is yeah, she's talking smack. All right.
She's talking smack. It's part of the game of YouTube, Barbie World.
It is. It's part of what they do. And you know what?
They want attention. They're trying to stay relevant, girl.
This has been this is not the first, won't be the last. And I'm sorry, man. I'm just impressed with the audience. Buffy, good to see you. We got a great group of people here, and once you've been through this once or twice, it's anyway. It's
pretty repetitive.
It does get just a pinch repetitive. What are the kitties doing at 17 degrees? I could almost guess. Moose is inside. Yeah. And our Groton is outside.
That is correct. Our Groton likes to be out.
He's a bold little guy, man. He is a bold little guy.
Hello, Reese. Are you actually relatable? No, it's all false.
Well, it really all depends on how you look at it. I mean,
Isn't that subjective anyway, what you relate to?
Yeah. Rob, you were there.
I look cranky. I'm tired today. I ran my mom around town and it's so cold. And I don't know about you guys, but take your mom to Costco. It's quite a trip to the circus.
You took you took your mom to Costco?
Yeah, and it's fine. There was nobody there because it's 3 degrees out and it's a Tuesday or whatever it is. But I don't think, because my mom doesn't get out much, we had to go
Uh-huh.
up and down every aisle.
Yes.
And she looks at everything and she goes, "What's this?" And I go, "I don't know. Let's go take a look." And then she picks it up and goes, 22 servings. That would take me 3 years to eat. I don't want that. Let's find me some other snacks. And then we go to another aisle and she goes, "What's
What
that?
is this? Yeah.
What's that?" That was that was my afternoon. That was we were there like 2 hours and my mom was like a small child and she was like, "What's this, Reese? Hold on, I want to see what's in the red box over here. It says they're crispy."
Did
I was
you
like,
how long into it before you exploded?
"Take a chance." I didn't explode. I'm too tired to explode. She really wore me out. Yeah, Tony, it is. Um, Thank you, Jane.
Yes. Friday night, it was late. I was walking home. I got down to the gate.
But it's
Now
a
I'm gonna have to binge on some Little River when this is over. Right?
I didn't even know that that was the band for that song.
That is the Little River Band. And
And you know what else?
talented, forget
And you
about
know
it.
what's weird about it too? You know what really is weird?
What's that?
And I'm glad it's in a good way. I've done so many shows on this. Costco really gets to me. I love Costco, but I can't say how many times have we seen the snacks, the people with the hairnets that stand there and give
Mhm.
you snacks. I don't ever partake in that. I don't want to because I get weird about nose hairs and arm hairs and food. That's why I don't do
Boy, does
buffets.
she. She will
Yeah,
not do a buffet.
right. But here's what's weird is I get so sick of it, and I think it wears me out every time I go. People will abandon their carts with their 3 small children in it, their purse, their coats. They will push the cart and go, "See you, kids," for frozen blueberries, and
Right?
then leave the cart and their children, and then I have to raise the kids. I gotta
Or a
take them
quarter
home.
ounce of liquid that's supposed to taste like some beverage.
Right. Anything. It doesn't matter. It could be a half of a vegan chicken nugget, but people will abandon their wallets, their infants, and then again, I gotta take the kid home. I gotta raise the kid.
Right
It's
next
a
to
big
the cow that you adopted during the last ice storm.
it's a big responsibility, but it is weird how people will just leave their carts in the middle of nowhere and I have to steer around it. Do you remember when we were at Costco like 2 weeks ago and that guy ran his cart?
Yes. Oh, I got one that's even better. Hold on a second. Where is it? Where is it? There we go. So Quibs and I were also at Walmart. I mean at Costco. Same trip. And these two gentlemen walked by. And if you happen to be watching and you're one of them, you know who you are. Right. And the first one we're making contact with. Yeah, that's what he did. Is it not? Except it was a little bit longer, a little bit louder. That's my
What are you
partner.
talking about? Oh, yeah.
This
And I thought
guy,
it was you. I
yeah,
thought
and
it was
then
you.
yeah, I get the brand new fiance look where she turned around like, you just blew up Costco loud enough for people to hear you.
That dude loudly ripped one.
Yeah, like he was proud of
Loudly.
it.
He
And with his
was.
brother right behind him, like in the jet stream. Horrible.
I felt like I walked into a beehole and shut the door behind me. I was
Pretty
mad about
foul.
that.
Pretty
Whenever I
foul.
walk into somebody's fart, whenever I walk into that, am I the only person? Like I get angry immediately. I go from 0 to 10. This is why I don't go to the malls around Christmas. It's just one big fart.
It's just one big fart or a bad pair of feet. No, I did get crop dusted, Amy Joe. And the worst part is, honestly, my girl, like, the love of my life, looked at me with that. I cannot believe you just did.
I thought it was you.
I went,
I
it
was
wasn't
pissed at
me.
you.
I even pointed at him. I did what they used to call the Nevada salute. You know what I mean? This guy, he did it. It was him.
Tommy did too. He was like, he did it.
Snitch and Wesson.
I was like, I don't care who did it. I was pissed at both of you. For a minute, I was. Lumen gets crop dusted at Target all the time. And that's what's horrible. I guess it does make me a grifter and a liar when you think about it, because I get really angry when people do that. But I'm with Huxley all the time, and I'm like, I just farted. Let's get out of here.
But Buffy, I didn't do it. I went with the snitch blade, the 9 telemeter. That dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah. It was that dude. I get it, hon. But I really, for a second, I thought it was you. And I thought, I'm not marrying somebody with these kinds of manners. It's okay if you want to silently do it and we move out of the soup aisle, but you are not going to rip farts like that loudly and proudly.
No, this was loud. And the only thing that saved me was the interplay between the brothers right after it happened. Told my fiance that without a doubt, that was not me. Because the brother behind him looked at him like, dude, really? He gave him the, oh man, my older brother's nasty. I've seen it 100 times. What, with Johnny as my older brother?
I am guilty of it though. Like I am.
You fart in Costco?
I don't know that I fart in Costco. Target, actually, Lumen is spot on with the Target thing. I tend to fart at Target.
Sorry. That's more what it was like. It was. Two guys. It was just awful. And then some other guy checking out Reese. You know, it's like those things that you see in the shorts where a guy runs his car into something because he's not looking. That's exactly what happened. That one was actually pretty funny.
That was funny. He ran his cart into a wall, into the side wall.
And hard. Oh no.
That was terrible.
Oh no,
yeah.
really? That is awful.
You know, Debbie Zito, that is awful. But I seem to always be stuck with that guy. It's not beer farts though. Every time I'm on a plane, I feel like I'm stuck next to a guy that does my ex-husband used to do it all the time. It was this like a quiet burp. He'd go, whoop.
Oh.
And he'd blow it out. And I felt like I was locked inside of his stomach fluids and there was no door out. And it was the worst thing. And every time I'm on that plane, it's from Snap into a Slim Jim. It's always a guy that eats beef jerky and he goes, and they just let it out. And
it's got the power of a state fair sausage behind it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But this last time, I actually, I filmed the last time I flew. I was leaving Bug Tussle. I didn't post it because I didn't think anyone would appreciate it except the real diehards. Silence. I'm looking around on the plane like, apparently they didn't get the Scoville memo. Where's the crying child? Nothing. The whole time. That was a first for me. And I'm not being funny. A first.
I would much rather have screaming kids on a plane than I either sit next to the guy like my ex-husband who just either like it's either coming out of the back or the front, or I sit next to an older woman that's just like bathed in perfume and I get an instant headache. Remember the guy in Kansas City who ran his scooter into the wall in front of the Scientology?
Yes, absolutely.
Mara, he crashed into a wall.
He did. And then there was the OT8. Keep in mind, they have mastered all things in this dimension. Like they can shape time and matter, but they can't get in a door without whacking themselves in the shin hard enough to fall over. It was a beautiful thing.
I thought he slammed his hand in the door.
He did, but the reason it happened is he was opening the door and it got him on the shin, like solidly across the shin, and he did one of these, and then the door shut on his hand. It was a beautiful thing. I'm sorry, I'm not taking pleasure in that.
I gotta say, we laughed about this a week ago. It is so weird, guys. I've never talked about this, but it's a weird, super weird as a Scientologist who's low on the bridge to see like an OT8 or somebody who did superpower, like trip and fall or walk into a door, because we are told like they are super all-knowing, all-powerful. Remember I told you when Doug got back from superpower, what he said to me?
Yes.
That wasn't a joke.
When something bad happens, right?
Guys, my father-in-law went and did superpower. That was the carrot for me in Scientology. I wanted to do it so bad. You go into this like weird machine, like you're at a like a arcade. You do all these crazy drills and you're supposed to restore all 56 of your senses. Like you can control your own blood pressure. You can control your own heart rate. You're supposed to be able to know every direction on planet Earth, you know, like the longitude, latitude of where you are. I'm not kidding. This is promised once you do superpower. Okay. Babe, what are you doing?
I'm scrolling.
Oh, and
And then he came back and said,
my
what?
father-in-law went and did it. And I was so excited when he got back. And I was like, what was it like? And he goes, I cognited, which in Scientology means I had a realization or an epiphany. And he goes, I had a major cognition. And I was like, what happened? I want to know. And I was like imagining he was doing stuff with his new mind powers that he uncovered. All right. I don't know about this sweater.
Now you're looking good.
And he said, I had a major cognition. And I said, what was it? And he said, when you run into a stop, when you hit a stop or you hit a barrier. And I was like, yeah. He goes, something went wrong. That was it. And I thought,
hey, look,
wow.
man, those kind of epiphanies don't just magically appear. You got to work at that stuff. Tell them that one more time, because it's one of those things that can get lost in translation.
When you hit a stop, which is how we say it in Scientology, like it would be like a barrier, but when you hit a stop, and I was like, yeah. And he said, something somewhere went wrong. And I'm not kidding you. In that moment, that was in my living room. I was like, I've been duped. Something isn't right here. I think I've been lied to. I feel lied to. I was worried. I was worried about my future with L. Ron Hubbard.
You know what? Chauncey Gardner, right? There's if you know who that character is, put a 2 in the chat.
I don't.
Sorry, I got to check something really quickly because I made an error. Well, I can tell you who it is. Chauncey the Gardener was a character in a movie, and he's like Forrest Gump, kind of slow, but he says these kind of stupid statements that turn out everybody thinks are so profound. And that sounds like one of the statements that Chauncey the Gardener would have said when
Carol Carr.
See, Brock Bandy gets it. Who's Costco Farts for the Modern Woman. Is that a book? Because if it's not, it should be.
It was really bad though. And I'm being very serious. I remember when he said that and I was super concerned. I was really worried about my future. Did any of these people that did those superpower things not have health problems after? You would think if they did, they would question why they had health issues. Well, that was a great question, by the way, Shannon C. That was also why, thanks J9. That was also why it was starting. Like, I wonder, guys, the statistic on this. Like, I'd love to know the percentage of how many other Scientologists think it, but don't say it too. Like Kathy, for instance, you guys all heard that phone call. She's on OT7. She should be incredibly well versed. We've drilled communication. She should be very powerful and articulate in how she talks. I don't not understand. I mean, she was all over the place. It did
take
start
the vase out of there, and she's screwed.
And in Kansas City, we were always proud of this. We had way more OT8s than other orgs. I mean, we probably had 20, 25 OT8s. And
so how could anything possibly go wrong at that org? You've literally got supermen and women like the Ubermensch right there. How the hell could anything go wrong?
That's my question too. And I wonder how many of them question it inside their heads because they can't outside of their heads. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I figure, so I don't know, because I only knew one OT8 personally, and he sure as hell wasn't coming off of anything. He told me that, this stuff opened up the doors to the universe and all of this crap, but he didn't give me any kind of details. But I would assume that when things start going bad, they can say to him, oh yeah, you're OT8 and everything is perfect and stuff, but you're drawing this in. So you're doing something, right? Somewhere, somehow you're drawing this crap in. Isn't it always their fault?
Yes. If something bad happens, you pulled it in. Yeah.
Right.
I'm telling you though, I really wanted to do superpower. I was so excited to move things with my mind.
Oh, I've seen you do it.
I was excited.
I was referring to setting the thermostat, you pervert. I don't know what you were talking about, but
anyway, my mind went everywhere.
I'm sure that it did.
In all the dirtiest.
I can't back that up. I wasn't talking about the thermostat. I'm just trying not to get demonetized. Yeah, this is a real thing, Tommy Bird. That the guy that I knew that it was an OTA, I know that he said to me, because I knew him before he got to OT3, right? And I guarantee you that when he found out about Xenu, he had said to me so many times, the problem with your religion is there's this whole mythology. And with what I believe, it's science. You're holding the cans, you're looking at a meter. There's no story of some magical guy sitting up in the clouds or whatever. And then he's got to hear about Xenu. I'm sure by that point he was so all in, and everybody he worked with was there because I know who he is. That would have driven him nuts.
How many people were in that? Somebody said how many people were in that org. By the time I left, the staff number never really grew much, but staff, I would say there were 30, 35. Hey, Johnny. What was the question though, babe? You had it. Okay, I'll go back. I wonder, Layla Bradley, I wonder how many Scientologists that have medical conditions that do superpower course have to lie on their medical issues. Their medical issues have gone completely, completing the course. I think you don't have to get a medical check to do superpower. You do have to get a medical check to do a purif and to do cause resurgence, which is another flag only rundown. And I couldn't answer that. I don't know. I also would like to know how many people have died doing a purif.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Oklahoma had a bad run.
Well, that's Narconon. That's different. I mean, it's Scientology still, but that's all they do is purifs. It's a drug rehab center. So I wonder, though, like just Scientology wise, like I have a friend who went and trained at Flag and died.
Nobody knows much about Scientology until they get to the OT levels, right? I mean, that's really so. But you know how everything came into effect. You know how the process works. You know, being on the cans. The only thing that you don't know is the history of it, right? You don't know the lore. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to hit. I can't start your comments. It's a lot of niacin, ASAP Lizzie. It's like 6,500 grams of niacin a day that you take. And Carol Carr, what is Flag? Flag is in Clearwater, Florida. It's the main place where it's the headquarters. That's the best way of saying it.
Yep. Don't know much about history.
You know, Scientology and the Jesters are very similar in that you can't find much. I mean, I guess you can more on Scientology, but it's such a sham. Like it's hard to find truths. And I guess you won't find anything on their website for sure, right? Like they're going to show you the PR version of everything and everybody's so happy and animated and it's helped me so much. Hey, Sharon.
Debbie Blair, a lot of they have to recruit people into Scientology. So they have two really big fronts for them. And one of them is they'll go into a business where somebody is a chiropractor or somebody is a dentist or somebody does something like that. And they say, we can show you how to take your business to the next level. And they help them with some communication skills and some basic marketing. And they do see their business start to take off. Then they love bomb the crap out of them. And they make sure that people are happy. And from there, and the other way is they find people who are strung out, right? People that really need to get off dope. And they do this Narconon program where they sweat it out of you. So yeah, a lot of people are. I am very familiar with Ren. He's incredibly, incredibly talented. He's fantastic. And he highlights mental illness and mental awareness and love Ren. Thank you. That was a Tampa Bay suggestion back in the day, but I love Ren. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading. Sam Cook. Don't know much about history. What are you thinking, babe?
I was just looking at the comments. How many active versus ex-Scientologists are there? Craig, there's Aaron Smith-Levin said, what did he say, babe? There's like 20,000 active.
Yeah. Most estimates put it between 17 and 30.
But I couldn't tell you how many there are ex-Scientologists. There's probably a ton.
Yes.
A ton.
Yeah. There was a Narconon in Bakersfield. There were Narconons everywhere. At one time, it was really a thing, and it was getting a lot of traction. And you know, it's like anything else. The truth is, 20% success rate, no matter how you do it. So whether you do it in Narconon or whether you do it in AA or whether you do it in NA, they're all getting the exact same result. 20% of people that enter that stuff end up successful. And you can lie about it and say whatever you want because
They lie about it.
You can't release any of the information. If you say, what's your success rate? Every person you're helping has a HIPAA thing. You're not going to be able to release their name. You're not going to be able to release any of that stuff. So yeah, they lie.
They really lie. I think they say like they have a 97% success rate.
Yeah.
You know what bums me out? And this always really made me sad. I called my dad after he dropped me. And I said, my dad's been a Scientologist since the 70s, right?
Right.
And I started doing meth. I started doing drugs after I left. I was 16 when I started doing it. And by the time I wanted to quit, when I was 18, I called my dad, who I hadn't spoken to. And I said, I have to tell you something. I have to tell you the truth. I'm on drugs. I said, I need your help. I need to get away from this. I don't know how to stop. And I really thought he would help me. I was kind of shocked. And he said, I will not give you a dime. I won't help you in any way. You're absolutely degraded and disgusting. Doesn't that kind of shock you? Because he's donated so much money to Narconon. You'd think if he's such a believer, and he's a huge believer in Narconon. My dad did drugs when he was young and almost went to prison for it.
Ghost pepper toothpaste.
Ghost pepper toothpaste? Somebody asked. God help us. Why would you want ghost pepper? Apparently we have ghost pepper toothpaste.
That's gross.
Yeah, well, you know what, Carol? That song actually, it's one of the most fascinating songs ever. You can look up a annotated version of that online, and every single word in there means something. It's the Summer of Love and the fascinating stuff.
But babe, stay with me here. Don't you think I've never really talked about that, but I remember being super disappointed. Maybe it's only important to me.
No.
I mean like the degree of importance on that. It's shocking to me because he really, really pushed Narconon. He gave Narconon pamphlets to people. He donated to Narconon. I was shocked that he didn't send me to Narconon. Like if we have this drug technology, and he promoted it all the time, right? Like if we have this drug technology and it's almost 100%, like why wouldn't he have sent me there?
Because I think your dad knew at that point that this was BS. I really do. I think at that point your dad probably was, not necessarily BS in terms of, he's a believer, but the guy's not clear, correct?
No, he is now.
He is now. Okay.
That's what
but
I was
it doesn't
told.
seem like he was matriculating much through the system at this point, man.
I honestly don't think it was that he didn't believe. I think my dad is a true believer of Scientology. I disagree with you strongly on that.
So you think it was shame? Is he just ashamed of you?
Nope, I don't. I think because he had tried and failed with me in Scientology and he saw me as a failure, he didn't want to spend another $100,000 on it.
So it was just financial.
I bet it was. Knowing him, I think he was like, I've already paid for you to do all this stuff in Scientology and you're a failure. I'm not doing that. I'm not helping you.
I feel like with what he's donated, he probably could have got you in there. You'd think no matter what they would have been charging him?
Oh, yeah. There's no breaks. No. No, he would have paid for it. Is it easy to leave, Maria? It is not easy to leave. It depends. I guess if you joined 6 months ago and you decide you want to leave, even that's kind of difficult. But no, it is not easy to leave.
I agree with you on that.
They come to your house. They come to your place of work. Somebody asked about Clearwater. Oh, when we traveled to Clearwater, the Scientology people we saw looked very unhealthy. It was weird, reminded me of The Walking Dead. I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I think it's Galen because they are so overworked. Those people are in the Sea Org, which is the highest level of work in Scientology. You sign a billion-year contract. You don't get a day off. You get like 3 hours off on Saturday mornings to do your laundry and clean your room, where they come and check it. It's called white glove to a pass. So I think if you think about it that way, you've got people who've been doing that for decades. And they just work and they're very sleep deprived. Makes sense to me.
What do you think of what D. Thompson says here?
He probably didn't want all the other Scientologists to know about you. That's what Tommy said. Like he was ashamed. Could be. Yeah.
Does it reflect like that in Scientology? I mean, because it really doesn't, does it? You're not a reflection of your dad. You popped into this body. You're not really his, right? They don't think of it in terms of like a genetic thing, do they?
No, they don't. But I do think there's some truth to that. Probably that he would have been embarrassed, like that my child, like he had a lot of friends with kids my age, and those kids were already clear, right?
Ah,
By the time they're 16, they're clear, they're going up the bridge, they're fully trained auditors, they're on staff. I continued to fumble and kind of flail around and not do as well as everybody else.
yeah, then maybe that's what it is. Maybe
Maybe.
Krista Melina says Sea Org folks in Clearwater live in dorms with bunks stacked 3 high, or did anyway.
They still do, Kristen, Melinda, and my mother-in-law's was on the training program there, and she shared a room with 11 other women in a room, one bathroom. What extent would you have continued in Scientology? Do you think you would still have been with Beefy? I do. Yeah, I think I probably would have. I think that I would have stayed with Jeff, and I think I would have continued my journey in Scientology for sure. I think I would be in deep debt on credit cards and probably trying to go clear.
That's I went to Portland, Oregon, Scientology in 76 for a test. And again, the results scared the devil out of me. You know what? They have a machine. And because of how much we all communicate and what social media has done to shrink the world, they don't get away with it as much as they used to. But it was a great pitch. Come in and take a personality test, right? It was a great pitch. It really was, from just purely a marketing standpoint. They were very good at what they did. This has ruined it. People like streets out there yelling and letting people know what's going on. It's a little bit different. Yeah, and you're lucky they didn't go to your house, because a lot of times they will.
They came to my house all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Truth Seeker says they never came to my house, and I never went back. They tried to force me to go there one time over the phone. I couldn't be controlled, never went back. I don't think, I'll be really honest, I don't think that there's any chance in God's green earth that they could have recruited you. Look, for instance, I meet you and I are together right now. If you had never been in, I don't think you're the kind of person that could have been recruited into Scientology. But being born into it's a little bit different.
I agree.
And I think
my personality, I don't think I would. I don't know. I don't think I would, though. I don't think I would have just joined off the street. No.
I don't think there's a chance in hell. And that's just based off of what I know. And, it's interesting sometimes when I hear stories, or, that to square you and the person that I'm engaged to hearing what the pressure that they put on you, and they're keeping you in one spot. You're not doing this. All of the different pressures that were applied to you. The girl I know today would be like, smack, smack, smack. I'm walking out of here. Not putting up with any of this.
Yeah, but and I think you're right. You know what I really wish, though? It would have been cool to my son said this to me the other day. He was like, do you wish that you would have grown up in a totally different home, like with two parents or even just one parent, but like finished school, gone to college? And I was like, yeah, like had a religion that I felt, had faith in. And I think that would have been amazing. Like I've said this, but to go to prom, I think would be so cool to have a prom, like all those things. I think it would have been amazing.
You're going to the prom.
Babe, you've been saying
Buffy.
You've been saying that for years.
You're going to? Well, it hasn't been years quite yet.
Oh, thanks, Buffy. Yeah, apparently we did. I think it was all those drugs from the border. I don't remember it.
It's incredible too, for a pair of grifters. We didn't even register. You call yourself a grifter, freaking rookie.
You are absolutely. I did not think of that. That doesn't even add up with their story that we're grifters. They said we got married. We would have absolutely cashed in on that.
Oh, sure. Edinburgh.
Why didn't we? It was all those Mickeys in my drink. Is that what they call them? Kids?
Yes. Yeah. Slipping a Mickey in there. Yeah, they wanted you to borrow money from your parents or whatever they had to do to get you into classes, right? And over time, they really honed it. They really got better at it. And those low-hanging classes, like the communication course or those, they deliver. You pay a small amount of money, and what they deliver on is excellent. And people go, damn, I am communicating better. I'm more assertive. Good stuff.
ASAP Lizzie, we did not get married. All the trolls and people who are desperate are saying that we got married to get attention.
Yeah, I don't know why we're hiding it, but
That's a good question. When you were in the Sea Org, what kind of things did you have to do as your job? I was in the Sea Org when I was 7. So I my main job was they called it the galley, the kitchen. I was supposed to clean the galley. And I did that every day. I cleaned after everybody ate 3 meals a day. And then I ran. They made us run all the time. As a child, I had really bad asthma. And I had to take, when my mom was around, she had me on breathing treatments and inhalers. And that all stopped when she left. And when we went into the Sea Org, they took our medications away because you can't be on medications as a Scientologist. So I had a really hard time. They made me run. I lost a ton of weight, and I wasn't large at that age, but I was like really thin by the time it was over because we had to run all the time and I couldn't breathe. That's all I remember. Like I remember vomiting all the time. It was
It's
wild.
healthy. What a bunch of lowlifes.
There were some questions can you go over to the starred
Do-do-do.
or here, I'll just read them. You don't have to highlight it.
Why not? I got mad game. Don't mess with me.
Question Shannon C said, is that okay? There you go. Oh, Tim Glass, you're right. I figured out you went to Vegas to get married, won enough money, to later purchase that rock you gave her.
You said you weren't going to tell anyone that.
Except Tim, you're wrong because they said it was fake. They said the ring was fake. Everybody knows way more than we do. We don't know anything about our lives. Trolls took the wheel.
The real rock I gave to a family member. You know, that old chestnut.
Yeah. Oh, ew. Oh, ew.
Hey, you know, that's it.
Ew.
Is that why you never got to see Huxley often? Because you were working all the time at Scientology on the weekends. That and she was inside a control group.
I was in Scientology a lot on the weekends, Shannon C. But even when I wasn't, I didn't have much of a choice on Huxley on weekends. My in-laws, my father-in-law, took him every weekend since he was 6 months old. And a lot of people will shame me for that, and they should. I feel bad about it. But you kind of had to be there. There was no otherwise. He was very, very controlling man. And like I've said this before, I've said like, I think I'm going to keep him this weekend. And he would go, absolutely not. We've got plans. I'm coming over right now to get him. Like it was just he would very shut that down kind of energy.
Yeah. Well, and I think that I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm glad that you said you would have had to be there. It's Timothy, maybe we could renegotiate. We'll fill backpacks full at 100 a pop. See now he threw me because that's just funny. I don't remember what I was talking about, but I do that a lot. Oh, I think it's worth talking about that. This is a ultra control group that sits inside. Like everybody somewhere has Scientologists that they probably have been around. You wouldn't know. It's a very secretive kind of an organization. And there was within these control groups are other control groups, right? And there's hierarchies and pecking orders. And if you've got a couple of older people that are high up in the church and they want to hang out with their grandkid, it's a very strange situation and a very strange dynamic.
Yeah, I agree. Tim.
Well, that just doesn't seem right. This is heartbreaking to say, right? But there's probably some truth to that. And she's talking about your father. That,
I'm sure it's not heartbreaking anymore. I'm sure
it is. True. No, it is because it takes an incredible amount of brainwashing to beat out of a human being the most basic of parenting skills, stuff that is bred into us from, literally from birth. This is something that is like your heart beating. You know what I mean? Like your lungs filling up with oxygen. This is it should be second nature. And to drill that out of people takes a long time and a lot of programming. And it's disturbing because, and I promise I'm not taking up for your dad. I'd like to grab him by the larynx, but he had that beat out of him, right? That's Scientology does this. It is a it is a philosophy of sorts that says this isn't your kid. It's not your kid. It's just another person that's getting recycled, and they popped into your life because that's where they entered. But this ain't your kid. There's no genetics.
In other words, what Tommy's saying is, when I was pregnant, I talked to my dad and I said, I just want you to be proud. I want you to be excited that you're going to meet your first grandchild. And his response, this is a much bigger story, but the point of the story is, he said, forgive me, but I'm not excited. You've been a mother 1 billion times. You've been alive 76 trillion years. You've had billions of babies. You've given birth billions of times. And right now is time to save planet Earth and clear planet Earth and Scientology. So no, I'm not excited for you. It's pretty wild. They get their
guy.
Muffet Lou, thank you. This is not cashmere, so please don't start that rumor. I already am rich enough.
Right.
Can anyone join Scientology, says Maria, or do you have to have a minimum requirement? Actually, that's a great question. Not anyone can. You cannot be a certain type of criminal. So Tommy's out. And because you're still in the drug cartel, it's not going to fly, babe.
It is what it is.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You smuggle a couple of 1,000 pounds of GHB in liquid form in your backside, and no one will ever let you live it down.
It's a shame, because I didn't think it was. Yeah, it was gross. You also cannot have any psychiatric treatment. So, like, if you've done a bunch of psychiatric drugs, like just pills, like prescriptions, you cannot work in government. You can't work in the FBI. You can't be CIA. I was going to become a police officer. They wouldn't let me do that. They're weird about people in the military, and you cannot have had any kind of psychiatric surgeries or procedures, like electric shock treatment, for instance.
Right. They're pretty tough on anything having to do with psychiatry or psychology or anything like that. But again, this is a systematic way of beating this kind of love and this kind of stuff that we take for granted completely out of someone's soul. Disgusting. And they do it to mothers. It's not just, fathers. They do it to everybody.
Somebody asked if Huxley still talks to his grandpa. No, they disconnected from us. Is your son's dad a good dad? Debbie Blair, they're not super close, but they talk. He's a good person, I'll tell you that. But he was born and raised in Scientology as well, and he's got a lot of anxiety and emotional issues from that. It's really rocked him. If I took LSD, can I be a Scientologist? You can't go into the Sea Org. You are not allowed to be in the Sea Org if you've taken LSD. Kim is.
How much have you dropped? Let's talk. I'm kidding. Sorry, go ahead.
Babe, you're already out-qualled.
Well, I want to be really out-qualled. I've done enough acid that definitely would have out-qualled me if nothing else did.
Can a person be disabled? I mean, they're not going to turn them away, Kim, but there are not very many disabled people. I've never seen one, to be honest with you.
My favorite caps, just for the record, out of the Pacific Northwest. Fire. Really small little numbers. Sorry.
Wicked Tinker says you could just omit that when they interview you. You can't, because you're on the cans.
Because you're on the Timu lie detector test.
Yeah, you can't. Is Huxley's dad is Brenda's mom? Yes. Okay. Huxley's father, his mother is Doug. Doug and Brenda are his parents.
Good. Reese.
Do you want me to read it?
Absolutely.
No one can tell you what is okay in a situation they haven't been in. You did your best. Look at you now. Haters do not define you. That is so kind, Christian B, and it's so true. And I wish I hadn't have even addressed anything, but at the same time, I thought about it today, and I'm glad I did. I spoke my piece. I got it out. I overdid it a little too much on that stream last night. I think I really harped on it, but you know what? Today's another day, and I don't really care. And I'm glad I said what I said. But you're right. No one can tell me, really, frankly, anything. And I am not going to value anybody's opinion of me going forward that makes hate videos. I said this last night. Hate takes a lot of energy. And more importantly than that, you have to care a lot to hate. And I'd rather not. You
know something? You may not believe this, but I'm proud of you for last night. Yeah, you might have gone, you might have talked about the stuff, but I know what it feels like to want to go in there and dump every receipt you got out and play every audio that somebody ever left you and play every text message that
Oh
somebody.
yeah.
And it's,
I thought about
I
that
know,
today.
I know, I know.
I have so many receipts and yeah, things like that. And I feel like I could easily go, look, she said this, she did. I
I'm
don't have
proud of
that
you.
kind of time. I'm not going to do
I'm
that.
proud of you.
Like
No reason to move toward hate.
well, it's not even moving toward hate. Who has time to go sit down and hash out what people who hate you are saying? Doesn't Doug think Huxley is his reincarnated father? Yes, 100%.
And
Yeah.
why wouldn't he be?
That's weird, by the way. Doug would say that.
Sorry.
Doug said that his dad died like in the 70s, and he's been sitting around on a phone wire telephone pole waiting as a being, as a Thetan, for to get close to Doug. And so he picked up the body when I was pregnant, and he told me all of this. And he said that Doug and Huxley are from the same home planet, and I'm not in it. It's a big group, and you ain't in it.
It must be a lovely planet.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Kim Hallman. Guys, thank you everybody for your support from last night. By the way, that was really kind. If you don't mind, go subscribe if you are not subscribed and you want to be, because it would be nice. Do you and Tommy have any fair gaming toward you in present time, as they say? Well, what's going on right now? They're trying to fair game us. I truly think
betcha.
I know this may sound a little crazy, but I don't think it is. And I don't think it's that far off. All of a sudden, we're announcing we're going to do all this gesture stuff. Now, I will say some of these people, guys, I didn't say this last night, and I don't even think I should, but some of these people are friends with Jeff. Some of these people who are making these current videos about us talk to my ex-husband, who is burned beyond belief about the gesture stuff and wants revenge. I think it's a little interesting that all of a sudden they're all banding together. Do you think Doug will look for Huxley after? Yeah, I think there's a chance of that, Layla. The thing is, it doesn't matter if he's 18 or 50. He's connected to me. And in Scientology, you cannot be connected to an SP. It's not about age. You don't age out. It's being connected to an SP. And Huxley will always be connected to me. Yeah, it's very, very interesting timing. Don't you think, babe?
Yes, this is the enemy of my enemy is a friend of mine. And the proof to that is this. You know, you guys talk about my ex best friend being involved in this. He spent an entire, 2-year period of time talking about how there's one individual involved in this game that has just been one of the most reprehensible humans. And he literally spent a year and a half talking about how he doesn't understand how that kind of scum can survive on this planet and why God even would create people like this, and now they're best friends. And that kind of hypocrisy, the kind of thing where someone turns on a dime is unique only, honestly, to this realm. In real life, enemies don't jump into the sack like that. But since these people don't have to see each other, SP is suppressive person.
Yeah, it's what I am. It's when you're declared and exiled in the church. Why would they be friends with Jeff? They're not all friends with Jeff. There's 2 in particular that are friends with Jeff, Pat, and they were friends with Jeff when I first started my channel. They met him through me, and they got his phone number. One of them was working with him through his company. They were asking him tech questions because he's a software developer, and they hit it off through that. The other one hit it off with him by helping me set up a bunch of stuff to do my merch shop and all of that. So they all exchanged phone numbers and they carried on as friends. So I think it's interesting. And who knows, maybe they've all been chatting at this point, but I know for sure there's 2 of them that are close to Jeff. It's a little odd, right? I mean,
technically everyone, if you've ever studied
I don't understand Christy Anis's question. Why are they bothering if you don't exist? Does that mean you are more than a figment of their reality? Buffy Summers, I love you, girl.
So here's the deal. This, like I said in the beginning of this, and I don't talk about it much on this channel. I just don't. But like I said in the beginning of this, they do this every couple of years. I just got 8,000 new subs in the last, 3 months. And they haven't had a shot at them. So they figure that they would do this again, and they'll do it again in another year or two. It's always the same crap. It's the same arguments, and they pick a few. They pick a few off, and that's sad, but it is what it is. It's funny.
Would Huxley turn Doug away, or would he listen to his crazy Scientology brainwashing because Huxley loved him? Layla, I think he would turn him away. Huxley feels a lot of animosity toward him, very, very resentful. I don't hide behind a fake name either. Reese knows my name. I don't use it because it's super common. Yeah, I know Buffy. I know her, and I do love her. She's fantastic. I don't know, and I'm not trying to say that. I mean, there is a connection there, and I think it's, again, if these people were so upset and think all these things, why didn't they say anything sooner? Right?
Well, because this time, honestly, they've got some people that have an interest in this, and the proof is they're doing it dressed in jester garb and doing stuff like this. This isn't even. This is hiding in plain sight in a pretty big way. It's kind of a joke at this point, if you ask me.
It is a joke, and I'm just not worried about it. I keep getting these threats like they're going to release more, and I just think I won't even know what it is.
Right.
I wasn't kidding. I did my stream last night, and that's the best you got out of me. You're not going to get anything else. What your opinion of me is and how much you hate me, I don't know why I would ever value that or put any attention or energy into that. It takes a lot of caring. You have to care a lot to hate. Think about that. I said this last night. I want to say it again. You know that I take up way more space in their heads, and you do too, than they take up in ours, because we won't. They're going to continue this. They're going to just keep doing it. It's going to snowball. Like, they care about us a lot.
I can. And and you know what? And I'm going to finish up with this one, because I think this is absolutely one of the most important questions in the world. I've never met a troll that didn't have a YouTube channel that wasn't successful. Ever. There are people for whom they try to build a YouTube channel. They get a little bit butthurt. Very often, at the same time, they're getting involved. They're trying to create content with other people. They probably mod for other people. And they realize that when they put up content, 25 people watch it. And it's a hard process. You got to stick with it. You got to build an audience, and it takes a lot of time. But they look and say, I want what that person has. So if they make a video trashing that person, they go, all of that person's audience will come listen to the trash we say about them. And it becomes a business model. And you can look at people's content. And if they're talking about people, right? Around here, we would rather talk about concepts. The exception to this rule is people who are taking advantage of the system because of their power and money. Right? A little righteous indignation because people like Diddy and people like Voldemort and people like the Alexander brothers and people like the mother effing jesters, right, have been getting away with steamrolling people all over the world for a really, really long time. Yeah, it's a YouTube cult. And you know what? You're free to believe and go watch anything you want. Go everywhere. We're never telling you not to watch it. Just see who comes across to you as believable or the people you want to follow. That's the best bet right there.
If you just watch the behavior of that person, the credibility seems pretty shot to begin with. Of all of them so far, they're pretty nasty, pretty ugly. And Kestrel, I agree with you. That person hitting on me and Tommy, that was disgusting.
Yeah, she's anyway, I promise you people, what I'm doing is important to me. What Quibs is doing is important to her. And you may think that this is a pitch. I've been saying this for a really long time. Before you hit send, right? Before you watch something, before you do any of this stuff, is it moving you closer to love or is it moving you closer to hate? It's a pretty simple freaking question. And if it's moving you closer to hate, then grab your journal and sit down and say, why am I cool moving closer to hate? What's going on in my life? But everybody here, I know I'm preaching to the choir. This is really for the 55 people watching that aren't leaving comments because you're haters. But to the crew of the boat, I love you guys. Not quite as much as I love you, Quibsy.
Aw, love you too, Bunny.
Yeah, love the way your eyes look.
Oh, wow. I don't hardly have any makeup on today. Thank you. Are you doing a show tonight?
I am.
Good for you.
I'm doing it at the same bat time as I normally do. At least that's the plan.
Okay.
We're not going to stop doing what we're doing. There's no chance of that. We haven't even begun.
I agree with Jane Aldrich. They don't want a response from Reese. They want us to leave her and go there. Yeah, that's true. They're trying to take people away, and they're succeeding, but it's the people who were already pissed to begin with in life. It's the people who want to talk to the manager. It's those people anyway, and they don't.
Hey, Ree, I've heard some of those theories. There's a lot of theories that people are espousing for why this is coming out when it is.
Yeah, Lori.
I'll be honest with you, doesn't much matter. I called this, right? I called this in December, and I said, "You watch," because I could talk about Diddy. I could talk about anything. I started to talk about the untouchables, and I started to get my videos are dinged, right? So I'm not getting paid on the stuff that I'm doing. And then the hate. And the hate didn't come like it usually does. This time it came with a very coordinated. Nobody does want to watch him, Castro. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We're sitting here 435 strong. Nobody's changed here. The crew on the lifeboat is bulletproof, man. And the crew on Relatable, Reese, is just like the crew on the lifeboat, except they're probably a little prettier. What's that?
It's not going to make a dent. I know my people. I know a lot of my people. The people who are leaving were on the fence anyway.
Right. Do you miss Lady Co at all?
I do. J9, I do. Yeah. Yeah. I got this sweater there and I was thinking about it today. I do miss Lady Co.
Listen, I don't say somebody's a troll for going over and watching it, but people who, if their business model is to just create content where it's amazing, because it's the same thing with every single content creator, right? All of them are the same. They all rip people off. They're all grifters. They're all cheating. It's really funny, people. It is, because you start to wonder, and it hurts me. This has really been messing with my head. The stuff that we can report anything. I'd like to believe that's not the truth. I chase stuff down, but look at this stuff. These people can say anything they want. There's nothing slowing them down. They can say anything they want. They can say I'm sleeping with my family members. Classy bastards.
Oh, ASAP Lizzie, I have that sweatshirt too. I love that.
Nothing else matters.
A grifter is a person who apparently begs for money, I'm guessing.
No, they're more con than that. A grifter is getting over on them. They're like a matchstick man. Yeah, like that kind of thing.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Katie did says, when people make me pick, I always pick the other side. And see, I haven't watched any of it. There was somebody I watched a little bit of yesterday, and it's so weird. I'm still weirded out by that one because she was so like, I don't like how she talks about sex, but she knits wankers. I don't get it. I don't know.
Well, she's a classic.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's also known.
Her years in Scientology have destroyed her, Quibs.
Yeah,
and
she's an expert. She's an expert. She's also known for following whatever's popular. She's a clout chaser, but Katie did. That's what I was gonna say. I don't know if people are telling people to choose. I think some of them are though. And yeah, we don't do that here. You go watch and go be with those channels if you decide that they're right.
Right. Unless we're talking about
J9. Yes. And I want Casper to do it. I'd like Tommy and I to fly up there for a 4-day weekend and get tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to do that and meet Casper's wife. I really like her. We've texted.
What time am I going live tonight, Debbie Blair? It's going to be 7:05 Mountain, 6:05 Pacific. All right.
Okay.
All right.
What are you doing with your handlebars?
Nothing. I don't have handlebars. Oh, I was about to make that admission before you got here. Fine. I dyed it for a period of time until Quibs came along and said, I would prefer if you don't dye your facial hair. There, are you happy? Huh?
I would prefer. No, I said I won't carry forward with you if you have this thing from Roadhouse.
That is almost exactly what she said. Yeah. It was really similar to that. If that wasn't it, it was pretty close to that.
Yeah. It was straight up Sam Elliott from Roadhouse. Not in a good way. Got to be a wolf. Now you're officially the Wolf versus Wall Street. I love that. I want to change it. I want to change my channel to that. I don't know anything about that, Pearl.
I don't either, Pearl. I don't know anything about that, but I would have to look into it. Sounds like something worth looking into. People, I'm going to leave now. I'm going to go do some of that dirty sexting with this. What?
You're going to go do what with your aunt?
Don't just leave where you're at right now. Could you stay right where you're at?
All right.
All right, people. Between now and the next time that I see ya, reach out and try to save somebody. All right?
Bye, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I love having you.